Barstool Pick'em Championship Week, college football. I'm depressed. The fact that we're here is depressing. I don't know about you. You've had a bad. You've been retired for most of the season. I think you still are depressed because you love college football, but this is depressing.
Yeah, it's a different stage for me. I love college football, so I never want to see it end. We've already talked about this. We have different views. It is ending in the sense, but that old jingle, which I play in my head constantly, it's bowl season is the most wonderful time of the year. Like that, I believe that.
I agree with you. Bowl season is unbelievable. I'm gonna miss the there's nothing more depressing than next Saturday when you get up and you flip on the TV and all you got is Army Navy.
Yeah, but doesn't the NFL start moving a couple games to Saturday for us?
No, that was like a decade ago they used to do that.
They don't do that anymore?
No, I don't think so. Or at least they haven't.
Well, then you just got to bet the 9 gazillion college basketball games on.
Yeah, that's true, and I've been betting them. I'm actually going to Vegas this week. I'm going to Vegas tomorrow. I'm a little nervous for myself. I'm going to probably have you talk me out of a couple bets here during this show because there's a couple games I like and I don't have any reasoning to like them. And I'm just nervous. I'm nervous about Vegas. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might lose.
Are you watching? Who are you going with?
I got a buddy's bachelor party, and then I'm staying till like 7 p.m. on Sunday night.
That's a long trip. Are they Wisconsin guys?
Yeah.
So are you watching like the Wisconsin-Ohio State game somewhere?
We got a room at some sports book for the Wisconsin-Ohio State game.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. It's just going to be a long. Yeah, I mean we're staying for the entire NFL Sunday slate. So
there's with Vegas, everybody who's been there, there's a fine line between it's fun, and then you're dead. Right, and I'm just. There's no middle ground either. It's like you don't know when you go from it's just a great time to you're massacred.
You're right, and there's massacred two ways. You're talking about just partying way.
No,
and gambling.
Yeah, every way. No, I'm talking both.
Yeah. I'm going in tomorrow. Thankfully I land after the MAC championship game kicks off because I know like the first thing I would do is just go and just throw all my money on that game. But it's a fine line of knowing that I'm going to be there for the entire NFL Sunday slate. Like I have to remind myself I'm trying to stay alive for 48 hours.
Yeah, I will say, the thing about Vegas is, at least for me, I generally can't bet what I bet with a bookie because I don't have that type of cash on me.
Right.
Last time I was at Vegas at the AVNs, we didn't have that much time. I was betting, I think, $3,000 cash a game, which is a ton of cash to be putting on games. I almost got in a fist fight because they wouldn't let me into the private room, and I had to basically be like, listen, I have the board here, and I have more cash than you probably have in your cage. So why don't you let me up into the private room? Which they did.
Oh man, yeah, it's true though, and this is the true degenerate move, and I know I'm going to do it. I'm still going to play with my bookies. Like I have a few different bookies. I'm going to still put in even though I'm standing 10 feet from the window. So.
Well, again, it's much harder to place that bet when you're handing over the ones, $100 bills, and it's a scene to do that to begin with. You got to step to the side. But that's a scene versus just calling it up, putting it in is much better. Anyway.
And I've taken a little hit the last couple weeks. I don't know about you, but it's a personal vendetta that I always have with my bookie. So the last thing I want to do is go to Vegas and win a ton of money and let him skate free. I want to win that money back from him.
Absolutely.
So it's, it's in my head. Anyway, all right, let's get to the games. Let's start Friday night. We have the MAC championship game. I don't know if you want to talk about that really quickly. I love Bowling Green. I made the mistake last year of betting Northern Illinois. Hank and I were at the game in Detroit. Hank watched me crumble. I think I lost $1,000 on Northern Illinois that night. So this is my revenge game. I don't know if you have a thought on this game.
This is really a function of me not having bet for a long time, because when you're betting, you know every player in the MAC. I haven't been watching the MAC games because I haven't been betting, so I don't know enough to watch them. I would take Bowling Green, but it just based on the public is on Northern Illinois, and I always, when in doubt, I like taking points.
Yep, and I would definitely make a recommendation on the under here. The only thing that makes me a little nervous about Bowling Green is they clinched the MAC East like 3 weeks ago, so they've been cruising, but I still think that they're up for it.
Is this in Detroit?
Yeah, it's in Detroit.
I can't take the under then. That's college football plays all over the place in that game.
Last year they went way under.
Exactly.
And the MAC has been going under this year. I don't know. I don't have any actual statistics to back this up, but I feel like if you bet the over on the weekday MAC games, you'd be pretty poor, which I am, and that's probably my statistics to back it up. Okay. Let's move to a game that we actually do care about. Well, I care about the MAC championship, but a game that America cares about. Oregon versus Arizona. Oregon is minus 14.5, over under 74.5. Oregon's lost to Arizona 2 times in the last 12 months. Who do you like in this one?
I think it's a really tough game. Really, really tough game. I mean, none of the last games recently they've played has even been close to the spread. They've all been blowouts, one way or the other. I'd go Arizona here, but my play would be the under.
Really?
Yeah.
The under?
Yeah, under 74.
By the way, where's this game played?
Oregon, right?
Santa Clara, California. Where is that?
That's where the 49ers play. That's an hour away from
Yeah. Okay, so it will be nice weather. I'm such a moron for doing this, but I like Oregon. I think they're going to roll. The team that Arizona beat back in October, it's not the same team. Oregon has they have their offensive line back. If you look at, they were not able to run the ball at the beginning of the season. Now they can run the ball. Now they're what's their guy's name? Hold on, I wrote him down.
Why is this game in Santa Clara? I thought they usually did the Pac-12 championship at the team with the better record.
I thought so too, but I guess they probably worked some deal with the new Levi Stadium to host it. So Royce Freeman, he's been coming on. He's their running back. He's been running. I mean, if you looked at Oregon this year, they ran the ball like 140 yards a game up until that Arizona game. Lost to Arizona. Since that game, they've run over 200 yards every single game. I think this is just a different team, a different offense. I'll lay the points. It's crazy. I do this every year. At some point every year, I lay a big spread with Oregon, and I get fucking murdered. This will probably be it, but I'm laying the points.
I'm telling you, this I just like this under. I had the under last time they played. I had Oregon. I thought Oregon would roll them last time. I had Oregon on the under. The under was easy. These two teams are not going to put up points like people think. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a high over-under, so I'm going to agree with you on that. And, that's one of those over-unders that I would like. I almost want to sit back and wait and see if I can live bet it. Like, live bet it after the first quarter, have a little slow start when they're feeling each other out. But I agree. Oh, by the way, let's just talk about this. There has never been a more rigged over-under than Oregon State versus Oregon last week. 66.5. The score is
47-19 was the final. It went under.
37-19, right?
47-19.
47-19, so that's 66.
Yeah.
Oregon State, with a minute and a half left, they get a guy. They're like third and 7 on like the 10-yard line, on Oregon's 10-yard line. The guy runs in for a touchdown. They call him out on the 3, which I didn't even see. They never even showed a replay, which immediately just puts my sensors up. I'm like, there's something going on here. Out at 3, so first and goal at the 3. Minute and a half left. We're fine. They call a offside, personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct. Oregon State now has the ball, first and goal from the 45. It was unbelievable. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So now they're in Hail Mary situation, and they didn't score. So there had to have been something going on there. I've never seen anything like that. That game had, and it was the spread, too. The spread was 21.5. So if they scored a touchdown there, they would have covered the spread. That's all.
Yeah, those things. It's like I'm a different man. Like Elio called me the other day. He's like, "You gambling yet?" It's like, "No." He's just hung up on me. I mean, it's like those are the type of. I didn't even know that happened. Before I would have 1,000% been on the wrong side, and I wouldn't have slept since if that happened. I have fumes coming out of my ears. I'm like a different guy. I'm happier. I'm like sedated. But it's like I don't have the same fire. I'm just kind of a gentle, like you can poke me with the stick and I won't even react.
You know what you are? You're Henry Hill. You're Ray Liotta when he moves to the Midwest.
Yeah.
You're eating noodles and ketchup. You're a schnook.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I don't like it, but it's like I'm not broke. Hank just grunted. Hank just grunted in the background.
Yeah, especially because now I'm in college basketball season, so I'm doing I bet Wichita State last night +3, and I'm doing I wake up at 1 in the morning to check scores, and then I don't go back to sleep for an hour and a half. It's not healthy.
It's such a weird thing because it's like I'm almost embarrassed by the fact I'm not gambling, but it's like why? It's a beautiful thing. It's like why would a coke addict be like, oh, like embarrassed that he's not doing coke anymore? That's how I feel.
I'm jealous. There's a small part of me that's jealous. You sound like when you like break up, when you have a breakup, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm doing well. Like life is just going well. It's easy. I'm just happy. Like
that's how I feel. And the thing is, like, if I place one bet, I'm gonna lose 5 to 6 figures in a month. Doesn't matter. I know. I might as well just put the money aside.
What my bookie does, I have a couple different books. So one of my bookies does a free play. So if you lose, he gives you back a percentage in a free play the next week. I mean, that's just the all-time. And you know that you're killing yourself because you're like, all right, I'll just play the free play. And then it's every time. It's a big trap.
I got like an I miss you jingle from my bookie, like was singing it into my voicemail this week.
That's the best. I changed my phone number when you tweeted it out, and I had an old bookie who used to give me that. He used to be like, "Hey, bud, how you doing?" Every now and then when I hadn't bet in a while.
So yeah, he literally was singing into the phone, and this is like a mafia guy.
All right, moving on. We'll go with the big games only. We can maybe touch on there's one good Big 12 game, but. Let's go to the SEC championship game. Alabama-Mizzou. Alabama's -14.5. Mizzou is the best team in the country. They're not even good, actually. They're just ugly, but they win, and I don't fucking understand them. I took them against Arkansas because I knew that was a classic Mizzou game. Who do you like in this one?
Mizzou has me confused for all the reasons you've just said. I thought Arkansas was going to kill them. I thought Arkansas was good. I'm fundamentally not going to bet against Alabama and the SEC championship. That's again, you don't get rich betting on the Raiders. You don't get rich betting on the Jets. You don't get rich betting against Alabama. So, although you did for a while, but not in the SEC championship. Got to take Alabama here, but Missouri's smoke and mirrors. So I guess maybe I wouldn't be that surprised if they held it within the number, but Alabama would be who I'd take.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to is like I can't. Missouri is one of those betting on Missouri in this game is such a gut check bet. Like, can you stomach that? Can you stomach betting on Missouri, seeing 80,000 of those fucking red maroon pom-poms going crazy in the Georgia Dome, Blake Sims, throwing a pass, a 70-yard pass to Amari Cooper 2 minutes into the game, and then like the hardcore da 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 da, and then all the fucking Bama fans are doing their pom-poms. You're down 7-0. You got Matty Mock. I see it and I can't do it.
It's not even that. That's one scenario for sure. It's also the Ohio State-Michigan scenario where you play them like tooth and nail for basically all but the last 2.5 minutes of the game and you lose by 40. Like, that also could happen.
That was brutal. They ended up covering, though, right?
They scored a late touchdown.
That was going to be the most criminal loss.
But that's what happens in college football. That's Matty Mock. Suddenly you're down 14. He's just throwing it to the other team.
If you look at who Missouri has beaten, though, this is the problem. I know the standings are the standings, but I feel like we should have someone in college football being judging over the entire system and being like, no, Missouri, you don't get to go to the SEC championship game. Georgia beat you 34-0, and they've totally embarrassed you, and everyone wants to see Georgia, Alabama. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you play who you play, I guess, but
this game just kind of stinks. It's just, and everyone wants to see that game, and now we have to watch this. So I don't know.
The only thing I'll say is I agree with everything you're saying. I actually thought the line would be in the 20s.
Yeah. Although I feel like Mizzou is one of those like sharp guy things, you know, like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's my point.
Right. All the sharp guys walk around talking about how much fucking money they've made off Mizzou this year. So that's why it's where it's at. Let's keep going. So what's your pick in that? Alabama?
Yeah.
I'll take Alabama too. I'll take the over as well because that's just a fast turf. I think Mizzou knows that they got to play up tempo. You don't beat Alabama in like a bar fight. You just don't. So they have to kind of run a little up tempo, almost like Auburn did for the first half of the Iron Bowl. Let's go Big Ten championship game. Wisconsin, Ohio State. Obviously, JT Barrett's out. It probably was going to be Ohio State -3, -3.5. Now it's Wisconsin -3.5, -4. Who do you like? Over under 52.5. Who do you like in this one?
Ohio State. I think it's a close game. I think it's an overreaction to a degree. This is a pick'em game for me, flat out. So that's why I'm going with Ohio State.
I obviously have a stake in this. I do think I'm kind of pissed actually that JT Barrett's, as crazy as it sounds, I almost wish he was still playing because now Ohio State's going to they're going to do the kitchen sink shit. They're going to throw a bunch of crazy plays. They're going to play a different game, and you have to watch out for that. And I'm always like, they're gonna have to be creative to win this game. I feel like straight up we would have beaten them.
It flipped it totally on its head from like pesky Wisconsin trying to beat Ohio State to now, no one gives Ohio State a chance and Wisconsin's the heavy favorite and Wisconsin choked if they don't win. I don't like that flip if I'm on the Wisconsin side.
I mean, 4 is too much. If it was 3, I would probably take Wisconsin. 4, it seems like a field goal type of game. I will say this though, Ohio State can't stop the run, so I don't know what their plan is. Like, forget what they're going to do on offense. They gave up 250 yards to Michigan on Saturday. That's ludicrous.
Yeah, these college games, I don't always connect the dots from week to week. I think there's going to be a lot of emotion. They're going to be, Wisconsin's going to run. I think they'll hold up versus the run okay.
Sorry, I read it wrong, but they gave up 121 yards. They gave up 281 against Indiana. They gave up 218 against Minnesota, 178 against Michigan State. They don't stop the run. So
I mean, that Indiana game I watched, a guy broke like 280-yard runs on him, but I think they'll be ready.
But you realize that's
Gordon.
Exactly where the strength of Wisconsin is. Melvin Gordon, if he can get out in space, he'll kill you. That's not an argument for Ohio State as far as I'm concerned. Like saying they gave up a couple.
Yeah, I just watched them. I didn't think they weren't. The plays I watched weren't gash runs. They were almost like flukes to my mind.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the the ACC championship game. Florida State and Georgia Tech. Florida State's -4.5, over under 61. I got some thoughts on this, but I want to hear yours first.
I've probably said this a bunch about Georgia Tech. Can I watch a series? Can I see if Florida State knows how to stop the option, if they've been practicing against the option? The option either works the whole game or it doesn't work at all. I'd like to know whether it's going to work before I place this bet. I'm guessing it does not work. I'm taking Florida State. Even though Florida State can't cover versus their grandmother, the spreads are starting to come down a little bit. So, 6 points is not a lot to cover. A touchdown is not a lot to cover. I think Florida State will stop the option. And I don't think Georgia Tech's going to consistently stop Jameis. Would I be shocked if Georgia Tech won this game? No. Would I be shocked if they covered? No. But I'm taking Florida State. I think Florida State wins by a touchdown to 10 points.
I saw this line. I don't know about you, but I was like, how is this line not? I thought it was going to be at least a 7-point line, which makes me think I have to take Florida State now.
It's not, because they're not doing it first. It's even like, what was the Louisville line when they were down 21-0 and everyone's like they're only favored by 1.5. They came back and did it. There's going to be a majority of this game, probably, where you're like, yep, Georgia Tech was the play. But then Florida State's going to start doing Florida State stuff. Jameis is going to have the girl on his scooter. Things are going to be going crazy. Next thing you know, they're going to come out smelling like roses, and Jimbo Fisher's going to be giving his little interview how this team just knows how to play second-half football and don't count him out. And then somebody's going to ask him about the interrogation. He's going to get mad. They're going to be like, do you deserve to be 3-4? There's going to be just all the Florida State stuff that goes along with Florida State will probably happen in this game.
Also, this may sound crazy because it's a championship game. It's the ACC championship game. But I don't think you can discount how big of a win that was last week for Georgia Tech. They never beat Georgia. And then they went to Georgia and won on an improbable way. That I feel like there's got to be a hangover there, at least a little bit. Whereas Florida State, this has always been in the plan. They're going to go to the ACC championship. They're going to go to the Final Four. This is all part of the plan.
I don't see the letdown happening, but you can't run that offense right now in major college football and win an entire conference, I don't think. So, I don't know. I've seen that. I like Georgia Tech. I bet on them a lot. But if that offense isn't working, they have no answers. Their quarterback can't pass.
All right, so I think we kind of agree. We're going to both take Florida State in this game. This is actually in the running for my lock of the week because I feel like it should be a 7-point line, and getting it at 4 is kind of a joke. One last game we'll talk about that's not a championship game, but it has playoff implications. Kansas State going to Baylor. Bill Snyder is an underdog, +8, over under 66.5. Did Petty get hurt last week? I think he did.
Yeah, he got like a concussion, but he's not really. But yeah.
So is he okay?
He says he's okay. He's playing.
Oh, yeah, it says probable. Yeah, he got a concussion. Who do you like in this one?
I feel like you don't have the line right. I thought it was 6.5.
It was 8, right?
I thought 6.5.
Well, I got it.
Oh, it's not on my books.
7.5. 7.5. So you were
7.5, 8.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I like Kansas State.
I just feel like this is what they do. They just thrive on these situations.
Although they did get smushed by TCU. That was a little surprising.
Yeah, they did get smoked by them. The only thing that makes me a little nervous is Baylor's on the outside looking in right now.
Yeah, but here's why I agreed, which is, by the way, preposterous. That's a whole different story. I don't care what you fucking say. You might as well just not even say winning and losing matters if you're going to have two teams with the same exact record and one beat the other guy and the other guy's on the out. There is no argument that can be that works.
Not to mention the only difference in their entire schedule is Minnesota. We're really deciding this on Minnesota?
It's insane. You can't, I don't care about anything. They played each other. You have to reward the team that beat the other team. What's the point of winning and losing? Nothing else matters. If they played, one team won, one team lost, that's it. That's it. But having said that, for this game, Baylor's defense in the beginning of the season, everyone's like they're the 85 Bears. They're back to being the Baylor defense. They give up a ton of points. So Kansas State's going to score. So I think this, in my mind, is a pick 'em. Period.
So then the 7.5 points are just free money.
Yeah, it's my mortal luck.
Wow. You're unveiling that early?
Yes, that early. It's not that early. There's not that many more games.
Yeah, I guess it isn't that early. I was going to say, if you wanted, do you have any other games you like? Anything else on the card? I guess we could talk about TCU and Iowa State. I
mean, it's like 35.
Yeah, I feel like you have to take Iowa State, as crazy as it sounds.
No, I wouldn't. I would go TCU there. That's blowout city, I think.
I guess Bedlam, which we can reminisce about your awful loss last year. Oklahoma State.
That was like that last fucking play when they threw it 50 yards backwards and then got like a touchdown in the end zone.
It was you had the under, and it was like 15 degrees in Oklahoma. I remember this game vividly. You were it was the first half. There was no offense. It
was one of my and I made a big stink about how it was like one of my all-time mortal locks too.
Yeah, it was. You made a huge stink about it. There was no offense to start the game, and you were tweeting. You were puffing your chest out, and then it just. Oh my God, that was something else.
The thing about that last touchdown.
20 points at halftime. I think the over-under was in the 60s, or it was the 50s, but 20 points at halftime, and that touchdown with no time left. That was something else. Yeah, 3-yard fumble with 0 seconds left on the clock.
It wasn't a 3-yard fumble. It was like the play started at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, the official scorekeeper, because they were like throwing it backwards a bunch of times.
Yeah, the last guy fumbled it at the 3. It was like 1st and goal for the other team, and they went all the way back the other way.
The over-under must have been, so the final score was 33-24, which is, so that's 57. So the over-under I think it was 56. I think it was actually 56. And with 2 minutes left in the game, it was 20-17. It went touchdown with 1:46 left, touchdown with 19 seconds left, touchdown with 0 seconds left. I remember, I'm sorry to bring up bad memories, but that was an exceptional loss.
It doesn't bother me. I'm like a neutered puppy. It doesn't bother me. I don't gamble. I don't even remember what that feels like. It's just like I just walk around like I'm in Pleasantville. You know, that black and white movie where everyone's just happy all the time and like hiding their feelings? That's what I do right now on Saturdays. It's like, oh, hey, Renee, let's go for brunch. Like, you know, that's how I am.
Over under 60, Oklahoma's -21. I feel like you got to take Oklahoma there. Oklahoma State stinks.
I kind of like UCF against ECU. I feel like ECU stinks now.
Love them. I already bet that, actually. UCF tonight, which I guess we won't know. So when people want to laugh at us, we're going to post the podcast on Friday before the Pac-12 championship. We'll post the video on Saturday. So you can laugh at us. If UCF doesn't cover the 7, I already took that 7.
I don't want to cut this thing short, but a guy on ESPN just wrote that J.J. Watt would be a better tight end than Rob Gronkowski. So I got to blog this. Can we end this? This gets my blood pressure going.
Let's. All right. So your mortal lock is
Kansas State.
And Hank, what's yours?
Iowa State.
Woo! 34.
Kansas State.
I'm going to take the over in the Alabama-Mizzou game over 49. And that's it. That's
all right.
All right.